Hello there and welcome back to another video. Today I am on my break at my Thursday school and I thought I'd go out for another walk and talk and just walk out here in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of these rice fields, in the countryside of Goomba. Isn't that pretty? Well, in today's video I wanted to share with you guys a few things that I liked about my job in Tokyo. So if you're new to this channel, welcome. And for those of you that don't know, I've been in Japan for 10 years teaching English. I've been a kindergarten teacher here for the majority of that time. And well, I've been teaching kindergarten in Gunma and I taught in Tokyo. And so today I just want to share with you guys kind of what were the differences and mostly try to focus on what I liked about the job in Tokyo, because like I said, I am a kindergarten teacher in Gunma right now, and I was also a kindergarten teacher in Tokyo, but my jobs were very different in a lot of ways. The first thing was in Gunma, I've said this in prior videos, and one thing that I really like about my job here is that I'm by myself and I get to do everything on my own. Everything that I teach, my lessons, the curriculum, is all decided by me. That wasn't the case in Tokyo though. In Tokyo I was hired by not necessarily a big company, but much bigger than where I'm located now. And there were about 5 to 6 teachers total, not too many. And there was the CEO of the company and like a manager that like was above all the teachers. So there were about 7 or 8 who kind of worked on the lessons and kind of was in charge of putting together the lessons for every week and throughout the month and throughout the year. So, what I'm doing now, I enjoy being by myself because of the fact that for an entire year I was in Tokyo and I was going up to Sendai where my company was located, and I was having meetings with other teachers, and I was just in a way just becoming a better teacher. And because when I first came here, one thing that's really tough for a lot of new teachers when you come to Japan is that you're just thrown out there, thrown to the wolves. Just like, okay, here are some flashcards, here's a radio, here's some songs, some books, you know, knock yourself out. You kind of have to learn on your own. And so for 4 years I did that and I managed, but in a lot of ways your routine gets really old and the kids get tired of it, you get tired of it. And so for that whole year I was in Sendai, it was just really nice being able to meet with other teachers and learning how they did their lessons, and you know, working for a company that already has a curriculum in place and has all the materials, and you just kind of run with that. And so that's the first thing that I love, I guess, about my job in Tokyo, was the fact that I was part of a system that was already kind of set in place, and I could kind of use my teaching skills to hope, you know, maybe make it better, but I could kind of learn from what was already in place and go from there. So that would be number one, would be just having other teachers around and kind of, in a lot of ways, learning how I could become a better teacher. And from that, I've been able to come back to Gunma and implement a lot of things that I learned from my job and my time in Tokyo. And now that I am by myself, it's much easier because of that year that I spent in Sendai. I'm probably just repeating myself, but anyways, yeah, number one, the first thing that I liked about my job in Tokyo was having a team to work with. So, isn't it gorgeous out here? Just rice fields forever and ever. See all these huge power lines? Yeah, those aren't normal size, are they? So those are pretty much all coming from, like, on the north part of Gunma. Like where I'm located, I'm on the very edge of the Kanto Plains. And after the Kanto Plains, is there's the mountains, and up in the mountains to the north, there's a lot of rivers and dams, and those rivers and dams supply power to Tokyo. And so they string them out all throughout the countryside, and they're kind of an eyesore in a lot of ways. Okay, number two, the second thing that I liked about my job, I'm getting eaten by mosquitoes, that I liked about my job in Tokyo compared to my job now is, there's pros and cons to both, but the fact that I was only at one school the majority of the time, or I had like a home base. Like every day I reported to the, one school, and Thursdays and Fridays I would go to their nursery schools for in the morning and do some lessons. But for the most part, Monday through Friday, I reported to one school, and I don't know, that was pretty nice. I was able to kind of have a home for the first time, and the school was massive, 450 kids, tons of teachers. I mean, it was just a well-oiled machine. I cannot believe the things that kindergarten did and how it operated. It's amazing. Those kids was 450 kids. They were really well disciplined, and the teachers, my hat goes off to them. They are amazing at what they do, and I could never have done that. But with that, you know, being at one school all year was kind of nice because, you know, I got to, now I go to school after lunch, and so I arrive when the kids are pretty much all finished for the day, and I don't get to see much of what goes on in the kindergarten. And for a whole year, I was there from 8 in the morning, 8 or 8:30 in the morning. My contract said 5, but a lot of times I was leaving around 5:30, 6, even sometimes later than that if we, you know, had something going on. But for a whole year, I got to really be a part of a kindergarten, and they all treated me very well. I was just, you know, kind of part of the team, I guess, at kindergarten, at the school. And so some of the outings that they'd go on, especially at the nursery schools, I got to tag along, and that was always fun. But now at my kindergartens, I don't get to do any of that, which in a lot of ways I'm fine with that. But if I'm gonna be there all day and the kids are going out on some, you know, they're going to an aquarium in Ikebukuro, I want to tag along, you know. So on a few occasions I was able to do that. So I don't know, that was fun. So yeah, I guess I'm kind of rambling here, but number two is just being part of like one school, and not only that, like really getting to know the teachers a lot better, because I see them each and every day. I eat lunch with them, and so now I show up to kindergarten and it's just like, hey, what's up, and I'm out. Which is also nice, I'm not gonna lie. But okay, so that's number two. Number three, and the rest are just kind of small things that I enjoyed about the job, but they're not deal breakers. I mean, one thing I liked about it was the fact that I actually got actual training in a way. Yeah, I guess. I mean, for a month, I went up to Sendai, where my company was located, before I eventually moved to Tokyo, and I was with all my other teachers and the CEO of the company, and konnichiwa. Like, what the hell is going on? Some white dude walking around with a camera. But I don't know, it was just fun. That first month that I was hired, I was living in Sendai. They set me up in a nice hotel, and I got to go to a bunch of different kindergartens and see how they operate. I was traveling around Sendai and different prefectures with the CEO of the company while, you know, and I got to see him give presentations and speeches at some of the schools.
はい、この段階でリピート繰り返す行動するとどうなるでしょうか?
And at the beginning, I had really high hopes for the job, and I was like, wow, this could be me someday, like going to all these schools around the country, because the company that I work for, which is another cool thing about the job, was even though I was just teaching English, it also made an English teaching tool. And that system, the tool that I even use now at this job, because we bought one, but the system that the company, my old company, made was sold all throughout the country, and my boss would go around to all the schools that had one and kind of give presentations and speeches and kind of demonstrations on how to use the system. And so I got to tag along to some of those, and those are cool because in the system a lot of the teachers are in the system. Like if we make a video on how to do introductions, hey, what's your name? My name's Nick. You know, we could put that in the video, and that could be sent out to all the schools, you know, in the country that have it. And what's up, dude? Let's see. Heart, life, the future. Nice detailed stuff there, buddy. And so going into some of these schools, like my boss's face is all, you know, he's in the system obviously, and he does a bunch of stuff. And so when he goes to all these schools, the kids have been using it forever. They see him and they flip out, even though like it's their first time meeting him. And so like that's pretty cool. You know, I could be in the system that my new company's making, and in a way I could be teaching kids like all over the country. And that was exciting at first. Unfortunately, we never got that far because I was doing all this stuff in Tokyo and it was just a pain, and we never actually spent much time in the studio because it wasn't just the fact that I was in Tokyo. It didn't help because my company was in Sendai, but that year my company was in like a transition phase. They had just moved into this new office and the new studio, and you know, I was hired with 2 other people, and we were trying to do this new immersion program in Tokyo that I was leading. And another thing that I kind of liked about the job, because I was the only teacher in my company that was starting this new style of teaching, this new class, and I was pioneering it, and I was going to be the lead teacher, the head teacher, I guess, of this new program that we wanted to implement. And hopefully if it was successful, we could do it at other schools. But it just wore me the fuck out, to put it bluntly. So I ended up leaving after a year because even though, yes, I'm an English teacher here in Japan, kindergarten English teacher here in Japan, in Gunma, and also in Tokyo. One major difference is I was working twice as many hours, teaching twice as many students. I'm not being dramatic here, and getting paid not that much more. And also having to deal with the rent and other expenses, and just at the end it got the best of me, and I knew I needed to get out of there, even though given different circumstances and, you know, things I could have done better, some things maybe the company could have done better, you know, we could have made it work somehow. But I'm in a much better spot right now. So mosquitoes getting me. But anyways, I am gonna end it there. I'm about to get back to my school. I hope you enjoyed this little walk and talk, this little ramble. And let me know what you think. Would you like to work for a company that's a little bit bigger, that's situated, that has its lessons already in store or in place, and you just kind of go along with what they want you to do? Or would you like to have a job that I have now, where my boss doesn't really care what I teach? And when I first came to Japan, literally he's just like, okay, here's some flashcards, some books, a little stereo, radio, some CDs, knock yourself out, you know. Which would you prefer? Let me know in the comment section below. And with that, I'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching. Peace.